No one is a natural born leader. All leadership is learned. It's the reason you're listening to this right now. Leadership is developed over time by a consistent desire to be better today than you were yesterday. So the question is this: in what ways are you growing yourself this year? I asked this question to the leaders in our membership. And I do that because unless you are consciously developing yourself as a leader, your team will struggle and you will struggle watching them struggle. Today, I'm going to outline 3 ways that you can continue to grow yourself as a leader. Leaders at every level need to become walking billboards for the behavior and habits they want to see others emulate. When you can effectively role model the behavior you want to see in others, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to grow your team and scale your business. When people think of growth areas, most leaders immediately begin to evaluate their weaknesses. Today, I want to offer you a different perspective. I want to reframe 3 growth areas that I believe every leader needs to focus on. I recommend that every leader evaluate 3 specific areas to up their leadership game. So what are those areas? The first area is your skills. See, as leaders, we have to consistently evaluate our skills. Let me unpack this further. There are 3 types of skills I believe leaders need to focus on. The first skill is to master the skill of being organized. See, I meet so many leaders who are not very organized. And when you talk to them, I'm not surprised to find that their team and their business is underperforming. Conversely, when I talk to high performers, and trust me, I'm surrounded by many extremely successful leaders every single day, and they all have one thing in common. They're organized, right? They are relentlessly focused, and as a result, so are their teams. I encourage you to evaluate your organizational skills. Reach out if you want some help on this. Okay, the other major skill a leader needs to master is their job. That sounds funny. I'm just hearing myself say that. That sounds funny, but it's not. See, so much is changing right now, and many leaders are doing jobs they never envisioned. Many leaders and businesses had to pivot during the recent pandemic. Some are in new positions. Whatever position you find yourself in, master it. I mean, really master it. See, years ago, I joined an IT staffing firm as their COO. And while I had many years of leadership experience, I at the time never worked in an IT staffing world. My goal that year was to master the business. The same is true for you. You got to master the business you're in. The other skill every leader, and I mean every leader, must master is the skill of communicating. Regardless of your leadership level or years of experience, every leader should reevaluate their communication skills all the time and look for ways to improve them. How can you become more articulate? How can you become more concise? How can you simplify your message? How can you communicate more often with other people? The list is endless. Having a communication goal should be the top and center for every leader. The second big area for continued leadership growth, in my opinion, is your brand. What is your personal brand? Just think about that. And then think about how you can elevate it to yet another level. And when you think of your brand, I want you to consider first and foremost how easy it is for others to work with you. Are you flexible? Do others love being around you, or do they turn the other way when they see you? Besides ease of working together, the other aspect of your personal branding is your thought leadership. Do you have a voice? If so, are you using it to provide value? Ask anyone who has ever participated in any of my coaching programs, and they will all tell you that I'm always talking about having a voice. Ask anyone in my team. In fact, if you don't have a voice and you're not providing thought leadership, you're probably not even on my team. That's how important I believe thought leadership is to your personal brand. To me, it's a showstopper. Okay. The last aspect of your brand that is super important, is your commitment. Do you do what you say you're going to do in the time frame that you commit to? If yes, right, you build your brand. If no, you'd probably destroy your brand and quickly. The key takeaway here is this: do what you commit to. It's that simple. Okay, the third area for continued leadership growth, in my opinion, is scale. Scale comes down to people, process, and technology. Let's unpack this a little bit further. First, consider your team. The only way to extend your reach and touch more things is to build a team of A players around you. Every great leader is surrounded by a great team. Who's on your team? And when you think about your team, how can you elevate them to another level? The other aspect of people is your ability to build allies. See, I know a lot of great leaders who have built a great team, but have absolutely zero political capital across the organization and with partners outside the organization. In order to scale, every leader needs to build allies. Having allies will allow you to get things done a lot faster. The other two aspects of scale are process and technology, and they're tightly coupled. What processes can be updated this year? And when you think about that, I want you to resist the temptation to judge them as good or bad, right or wrong. It's been my experience that most processes are really effective at the time they were created. The challenge is that the business evolves, and so must the processes to support the business. If you or your team find yourselves doing the same thing over and over again, that begs for a repeatable process or ways you can leverage technology to actually automate and support that process. Skills, brand, and scale should always be three continued growth areas for every leader. The most effective leaders are committed to personal growth. It's how they grow, it's how their team grows, and it's how their business grows. There are no excuses for not developing yourself as a leader. None, right? Every leader has access today to a ton of leadership support material. As you guys know, I'm a big Jim Rohn fan, and as the late Jim Rohn used to say, you must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. If you want to elevate your game, I want to help you. I want to buy you a copy of my book, Freedom to Experiment: How to Ignite a New Level of Energy, Focus, and Momentum in yourself and your team. Do me a favor, if you're interested, follow the link in the description, and I'll personally sign a copy for you. Okay, if you like what I shared today, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share a comment related to your business, and of course subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content that will help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away. We'll talk to you soon.